Recently I was talking about my top 5 celebrities turned wrestlers, and then I thought to myself, how many of them have actually made the transition the other way? Quite a few in fact. How many have done it successfully? Not that many, at least in my opinion. So with that in mind, my name is Andrew with Raw is Ginger, and these are my top 5 wrestlers turned celebrities. For a little caveat, I'm also including ventures that don't just involve acting, so if they have a successful music career, they will also be included. But I'm going to start off with a dishonorable mention. Hulk Hogan. While he initially started the boom of wrestlers turned actors in cross promotion, and his cameo in the second Gremlins movie was genuinely hilarious, aside from that, I am not a big fan of his filmography. He probably has a bigger back catalogue than most of the ones on this list, but he gave wrestlers turned actors a really bad reputation, and that's why he's a dishonorable mention. Number 5. Macho Man Randy Savage. The Macho Man was certainly one of the most charismatic and genuinely psychotic people that you could have probably met in your life. But that being said, he was a pretty damn good actor. I specifically take from his appearance in the first Spider-Man movie by Sam Raimi. We all know the scene, we all know how good he was, and the fact that we're still talking about it decades later shows that he just literally threw everything at this role. But what a lot of people don't realise is that he is a very successful voice actor as well, often playing himself in several projects. So to me, the Macho Man gave that little bit more credibility, and the fact that Spider-Man is now a part of the MCU, he will live on in infamy, my friends. Number 4, Chris Jericho. The great Chris Jericho has had some acting work. It hasn't hit the heights that most people would expect, so why is he on this list? One word, Fozzy. His metal band is absolutely fantastic, and Jericho has a surprisingly good vocal range. You wouldn't expect a wrestler to have such great singing chops. Look at Stone Cold Steve Austin. But Jericho absolutely kills it. And what makes it better is that the band Fozzy originally started out as a joke. They were essentially a parody act, a cover band, something that would play on Raw just to amuse the masses. And the fact that this band were able to go from that and pump out several million-dollar albums, as well as partnering at some points with acts like M Shadows of Avenged Sevenfold, I gotta say, that's a pretty good discography to have. Chris Jericho is one of my favourite wrestlers, so I do have to put my bias out there, but listen to some of his work. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. Number 3, John Cena. Now we move into the big hitters of the wrestling turned Hollywood elite, and what better one to kick off with than the one who originally slated another entrant that's going to be on this list. Because John Cena seemed to be WWE through and through, and even slated Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson when he made his jump to Hollywood. It was part of the rivalry between WrestleMania 27 and WrestleMania 28, and John Cena swore that he would never do the same thing as Dwayne "The Rock." Oh wait, he did. The second Cena saw the bright lights of Tinseltown were calling, of course he was going to jump. But what many people didn't realise is that he's actually really good. Don't get me wrong, the dramatic stuff can be a bit hit and miss, but when he plays into his comedy roots, we've got gold there, my friend. For me, his breakout was ironically in the film Trainwreck with Amy Schumer. That's when it seemed to prove that John Cena had the chops to cut it with the bigwigs in Hollywood. Add in his performance in The Suicide Squad and his successful spin-off series Peacemaker, as well as starring turns in the Fast and Furious franchise. For all the haters, Cena ain't leaving Hollywood anytime soon. Number 2, Dave Batista. Someone who you would expect to be in the Fast and Furious franchise but has not made that jump as of this recording is Dave Batista. No one can deny that the animal was, well, an animal in the squared circle. He looked like he could rip you apart like a chicken wing. A lot of people didn't realise that Dave Batista had some serious acting chops about him until he appeared, ironically, in James Gunn's movie Guardians of the Galaxy. His stoic demeanour and deadpan one-liners were an absolute treat to audiences across the globe. He then went on to appear in all 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies, as well as Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. While it looks like his time in the superhero world has finally come to an end, he has made appearances in other franchises such as James Bond, Dune, an M. Night Shyamalan movie, and I'm sure there's plenty more in the pipeline for him. Dave Batista has shown that there is a real gravitas to his work, proving that he can do comedic roles and dramatic roles with equal dedication, commitment. He only comes number 2 to our number 1 spot because he's not had the longevity of the number 1 spot on this list. Give me a few years and this could be a completely different list. Before I get to number 1, because let's face it, we all know who it's going to be, here's an honourable mention for you. Rowdy Roddy Piper. There's no denying that Rowdy Roddy Piper was known as a complete psychopath in between the ropes. This guy had some brilliant matches and is a talent and a legacy that you really cannot deny if you're a wrestling fan. That being said, he has quite the filmography to his name. There are a lot of films and TV series that he was in that just don't get mentioned enough. The main one that people know about is They Live, which was released in 1988, and he excelled in that lead role. But a lot of people don't realise that he was also in films like the 1992 Mortal Kombat, playing John Keller, Detective Cameron Grayson in the 1996 cult movie Sci-Fighters, supporting role of Pastor Roberts in the 2005 movie The Wise Guys, and made several appearances as a parody of himself in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, playing, ironically, Da Maniac. He also wasn't afraid to make fun of himself, as he appeared as himself in the Super Mario Bros. Super Show in 1989, Louis Theroux's Weird Weekends in 1999, The Man Show in 2003, Robot Chicken in 2006, Fantasy Factory in 2011, Storage Wars in 2013, Food Factory USA in 2015. Sadly, Rowdy Roddy Piper died in July 2015, and the world can only wonder what else he could have gone on to do had he still been alive. But make no mistake about it, Old Hot Rod was more than just a professional wrestler. He was, in every sense, a larger-than-life media personality. And speaking of larger-than-life personalities, number 1, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Dwayne Johnson was destined for greatness, in and out of the squared circle. There is absolutely no denying that. But what a lot of people don't realise is that he actually made his start in the sci-fi show Star Trek Voyager, in the series' 6th episode Zooncats, where he played a cage fighter. And there was something so oddly satisfying about seeing The Rock rock-bottoming 7 of 9 in Star Trek Voyager. I don't know what it was, but it just made me laugh. But even back then in his early days, you could tell the charisma just poured out of Dwayne Johnson. He infamously said that he wasn't going to convert to Hollywood. Hollywood was going to convert to him. And that has certainly happened to an extent. At one point, everything Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson touched turned to gold. He single-handedly revitalized the Fast and Furious franchise. Yes, that is a hill that I will die on, but there are actors working in Hollywood now that would kill to have the run that Dwayne Johnson has had with his filmography. Such films include The Other Guys, Get Smart, Be Cool, Fighting With My Family, Snitch, Doom, Red Notice, The Mummy Returns, Walking Tall, Welcome to the Jungle, DC League of Super Pets, Journey to The Mysterious Island, San Andreas, Central Intelligence, Jungle Cruise, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, and Jumanji The Next Level, Baywatch, Moana, and Black Adam. For a wrestler whose acting career is supposedly starting to wash up, I have to say we won't be seeing any less of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson anytime soon. Especially because he also has his own spin-off of the Fast and the Furious franchise, Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw, which could easily pump out another 4 or 5 movies for him. Minimum. And that's my list of top 5 wrestlers turned celebrities. Who are the wrestlers turned celebrities that you think deserve the mention on this list? Leave a comment below, be sure to hit that big old subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.